Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one we're looking at the Promate new dock 3-in-1 charging stand. This has areas to charge your iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad mini, iPad Air and also your Apple Watch Series 1 or 2, as well as some external USB ports if you want to add even more devices onto charge. It's available in 3 different colours. The silver is the one we've got today. You can also get it in space grey and gold to suit your devices. So you've got built-in charging for any of the Apple Lightning devices. The Apple Watch is charged by the cable you get included with it. It's got a nice little cable routing system that makes it invisible to see. So this has the dual USB charging ports as I mentioned. You've also got ultra fast charging with overcharge protection, and you've got overheating protection as well. It's got a total output of 7.2 amps. You've got 2.4 amps for the 2 USB ports and the phone charging, and then the 1 amp for the Apple Watch. Now to demonstrate in the video, I'll just be using my normal watch. I'm planning to get one of the Series 2 watches later in the month. One thing I did find really cool was the cable management it's got for the Apple Watch charger. That's actually hidden underneath, which is really quite cool. So you don't actually have any visible cables. I'll get onto that in a minute. So included in the box we've got the figure of 8 cable to the UK plug. That goes to the power adapter with the 12 volt DC output. And then as usual we've got an instruction manual. Here's the dock itself. It's got a nice aluminium build. It looks a lot heavier than it actually is. That could be beneficial. It's kind of a personal preference thing really. On the right hand side there's a nice etched logo. So on the left hand side of the dock we've got the station to charge our iPhone, iPad or iPod Touch. It's got a nice rubber back plate on the stand, so it's going to protect whatever device you rest against it. The charging port is actually on a pivot, so this allows you to use cases of different thicknesses. We'll get onto that in a minute. Now I did find when I put the device on it first of all, it was a little bit wonky after I sat it on the connection. That's more down to me being really OCD with getting things level, but that's one thing you might want to adjust to make sure it's nice and straight when it sits on there. Now there's a little rubber pad just protecting the iPhone as it sits on there. So this is my iPhone with just a random case on it. It sits slightly back off the rest at a bit of an angle, but as I mentioned it does fit no problem at all. Now we're going to go through a range of cases I've got just to show you that you can put pretty much any case on your phone and still manage to dock it on that station, which is really quite cool. Nice and convenient as well, so you're not constantly taking phone cases on and off. So on the rear of the dock is where we find all our ins and outs. First we've got the DC 12 volts in from our adapter. Then we've got 2 additional USB ports. You could use this to charge maybe a secondary device or maybe something you use every day, maybe a little Bluetooth speaker, anything of that nature. On the bottom we've got 4 rubber pads to make sure it's not going to slip on whatever surface you use it on. They've got a lot of grip as well, so it's really nice to make sure you've got peace of mind as well having your phone stood upright, maybe on your bedside table or something. It's not going to be knocked off during the night. Now if you notice the small tab on the right hand side, if we open that up, that reveals the location for our Apple Watch charger. We've got a USB port underneath there and also some pegs to wind the cable around, so it's all concealed out of view and it just makes it look really very neat and tidy. Now you may have asked, that's all very well and good, but how do you get it through to the actual top where you're going to sit the watch? Now there's a little small plastic tab that you can pull back, then push the cable through, big enough for the USB port obviously to allow that through into the port underneath. Then it's just a case of winding it through and tucking it into the groove that's built in. Then you need to pull out the tab at the top to put your charging pad through, then just sit it into the little rubber mount and then push it back in, and then you're good to go. Okay, so onto my thoughts. It's very much does what it says on the tin product. There's just a few things that I found as suggestions rather than that I found as faults. The first would be the lightning connector. It is a little bit wobbly, thus creating the uneven problem that I found. That's more down to me being OCD than anything, but that may be something that could potentially damage in the future with that little wobble, so that may need to be looked at. Then the second suggestion I've got is I'd love to see it in a really dark matte black. I think that would look absolutely stunning. Obviously these have been designed to match the kind of iPhone 6 colours, so obviously you've got the silver, space grey and the gold, but now the iPhone 7's out, I would like to see one match the matte black. I think that would just look absolutely superb. I can't wait to use this with my new Apple Watch when I get it later in the month. Another potential option they could do is include a version that comes with the Apple Watch charger. Some people like to use 2 different chargers, maybe you've got one at work and one at home on your bedside table. Having the additional option of having one built in I think would be really beneficial. It may be a bit more of a niche thing, as many people may be okay with just the one. If they want to swap it out, maybe they take it somewhere else, but having the 2 is another option they could include. There's also a possibility to make a lot heavier version. You may think, why would you want a heavier dock? Purely for the fact that when you lift your iPhone off, it won't move at all. Sometimes you may lift it up and move a couple of inches, or move back or forwards, you may want to put your hand on it to take your phone off. Having a heavier dock could just eliminate that process. There are some other docks out on the market that do have a very, very heavy base, so you can lift the device off with one hand. That might be quite handy for some. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but then again, that's a very specific area that not everyone will need. So if you want to get yourself one of these, I will put the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video and haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you for Promate for sending this out for me to review, and I'll see you all in my next video.